black coffee.
This is the Kavoya Coffee Podcasting Network. Coffee people talking to coffee people about coffee and things coffee adjacent. This episode of Coffee Memo is brought to you by Kavoya Specialty Coffee, where coffee is always a collaborative voyage. Welcome to Coffee Memo with Rob Stephen, a podcast where we talk about coffee industry news and current affairs. This is episode 12 of Coffee Memo, and if you look in the rearview mirror right there, you can still see the new year. And shimmering in the distance, we can still see the year 2025, at least until the next corner. And that could come along at any time, so while the memories of 2025 are still keeping us awake at night, we thought we'd take an episode to talk about 2025 and say so long, if not drive a stake through its heart. So, Rob, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we're in a new year.
Yay!
It's actually 2026 now. I only bring that up because in coffee, traditionally, there's been two little sort of slow periods, mid to late summer, and then as you approach the holidays.
Yes.
I didn't see a lot of people slowing down around here.
No.
As we came to the end of the year. So just in case you didn't notice, I wanted to point out that we actually are in a new year.
There's very few things in my life I'm happier than to be done with 2025.
Okay. So what I thought we'd do is look back. We've had a few episodes here since we started over the summer. And some of those episodes have been on very specific topics. And I thought we could review and revisit some of those topics to see where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and thinking about how we were going to talk about this today, I've had a lot of end of the year conversations with folks on the trading staff and then people who are I consider peers or people who are, in the same boat as we are. And to a person, they've all said, man, this is the most difficult trading year I've ever had. Right. And so, I'm not a big fan of sort of year in review or let's go back and see if we were wrong kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if there was ever a year that deserved a review, it's this one, because I think they'll be writing about this one in business books for years later.
Yeah. You think we'll be getting calls from the kids when we're in our dotage asking us if we remember?
Tell us about the 30-cent inverted market. Yeah.
They weren't really tariffs, were they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So, and I went back and listened to a few of our earlier episodes, especially like sort of episodes 1 through 5, when we were sort of still feeling out how to, because this show was kind of birthed in crisis. Mm-hmm. There was so much going on. It was like, man, we really need to be able to talk about what all these things are, break them down. We just felt like there was a need to do that, right? Yeah. Almost to the point where I'm not worried about it or struggling, but thinking now critically about how we go forward from here.
Sure. Because
we're not in anywhere near the level of crisis that we were in before. I won't say that we're in port on calm seas or anything like that, but
we've become acclimated to an awful lot of change and volatility. So
very much so.
Yeah, very much so.
But we made a list of all of the topics of the shows that we did, and it's a calamity list.
Yeah,
it's like every single one of these. It's like if one of those happened to you in a year, you'd be like, that was a tough year.
It was like those movies in the 70s, earthquake.
While you're getting eaten by a shark, there's a meteor hitting the ocean, that kind of thing. So, what I kind of wanted to do was revisit these topics and, maybe we won't stick exactly to the structure, but sort of talk about what we said at the time, maybe what we learned, if there's anything that we did learn, sort of where we are now.
Yeah, okay.
Right. And I guess so our first episode was tariffs.
Yeah.
Everyone was reacting to something that basically no one alive had ever seen before.
Right.
Right. And I remember saying in the episode that we had to rip apart our trading software and reconfigure it to have a place to account for tariffs.
Yeah.
And we had to do it manually for a while because there's just no, you future-proof these things. You try and build these platforms to anticipate and we never even anticipated.
Right. It wasn't even on the radar as a potential. Nobody ever said to us, well, what do you guys do when tariffs kick in at any time in our career?
Even, during like the campaign when the word tariffs would come up, I would be like, they're talking about cars. or they're talking about something equivalent to that, something that's
something that makes sense within the system that they
not everything and things that you don't make in the United States, right? So we went through that, right? And I think that was the beginning of the sort of journey of like, let's look at everything because it had such an outsized impact on what was going on, because it immediately started adding so much cost for importers and roasters that it became a prime contributor to the working capital crisis, which I think if you look at our discussion on that, it feeds into all the other episodes, because all the other different issues that we discussed, that's sort of in the center of the diagram, because every single one of them contributed to what was ultimately, I think, a year where we came to the brink of a real existential problem in the coffee industry, especially in the specialty coffee industry, but in the coffee industry writ large, where we looked into the abyss, where we said this whole thing could break down. I said the words sector collapse out loud to a few colleagues,
we looked at tariffs and then started looking around at all of a sudden the list of things that are not business as usual was really long. Yeah. And nothing was business as usual anymore. So it was like every rock that we turned over, there was something going on.
Yeah, right. And there was, after tariffs, we were already there, but then it became much, much worse, was the inverted market. In the inverted market, again, that's where coffee in the future costs less than coffee now. It created a huge disincentive to have spot coffees, which most of the small roasting community relies upon to be available. And because it costs so much to hold coffee, and money was already tight because of a very high market level and tariffs, that suddenly we were looking at importers slashing inventories, not buying new coffees.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you've got this issue where there's not a lot of coffee left, and what's left is what's been picked over. And so it just was terrible for the small roasting community.
Yeah.
Right. And so you added to that the fact that hedging costs as a result of this super high market were really, really high. On the trading team here, I mean, I don't think any of us had seen anything like that.
Right.
So normally we're in a carry market or a contango market where futures prices make sense, and the structure of the market is such that it encourages you to hold coffee, to have available. There's plenty of money available in the sort of investing community to lend to people who buy and sell coffee. And everyone's got enough money to do business. And suddenly we when I say sector collapse, it was about money, because it ended up in this place where the most well-heeled and well-financed industry participants were saying, I don't have enough money to do this. And so if they were saying that, it's curtains for everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I will remember as the sort of individual slings and arrows of 2025 fade, is that feeling. That feeling of like, if the big multinationals and the big, food companies that are in coffee can't do this, then nobody can do this.
Yeah. There's only so many days that you can wake up not knowing what to expect in any part of life.
Right.
Where you're not in crisis.
Yeah. So I would say, if you're listening to this podcast and your business is intact, well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You have surfed a 40-foot wave.
Since we touched on inverted market, I sort of have a question for you, because I get up every day and I look at the market a couple times a day. That's the business I'm in.
Yep.
They don't let me touch that stuff, but
please don't. Yeah, don't.
But I like to know. Yeah. I like to know. And every day,
I change the pin pad every day. So, but
and I open up the market and I immediately scan down to the furthest date out.
Yeah.
To just double check.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's still inverted. That's the first thing I look at. I half expect that one day I'm going to wake up and it's going to flip. But are you all going to see it coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll know if we're headed that direction.
It will start to flatten out. So I'll give you an example. So when we did our episode on the inverted market, I think there was 15 to 20 cents in the nearby month of inversion, and there was also 15 to 20 cents in the next switch, and I think roughly the same in the one after that. So it was I don't know, I think a year was almost $1 of switches, right? And we fast forward to today, which is second week of January, Friday the 9th, right? And the nearby switch, the March-May, is about 17 cents. But the May-July is only 8, right? And so you're starting to see this flattening, right? And so if we veer into current topics right now, what does that tell you? If we think about what causes an inverted market, what causes an inverted market is there's not enough coffee where it needs to be now.
Yeah.
Right. And a further inversion says the market also doesn't think there'll be coffee then either. Right. So what a rapidly shrinking second month inversion, which is a long, complicated sentence. So I'll say it again. A rapidly shrinking second contract month inversion tells us that the market is starting to relax. It's saying, okay, it's still tight right now. We charge you 17 cents to have, I'll pay you 17 cents extra to ship us coffee now. But we feel a lot better about coffee in the upcoming 3 months. And so we'll pay you less for that.
Okay.
Right. And as we get even further, there'll be more and more coffee. And so that, we talked about crop forecasting. All the forecasts are in. It's generally rosy. So there are more coffee is coming. Coffee will come to the places that it needs to be. The tariffs are gone. The market level is down as a result, right? There's more coffee coming. There's less uncertainty. The market level drops. The inversion shrinks. What you asked me was, when will it go back into carry? It will go back into carry when people are more worried about the future than the now. Now is still not great. There's still not enough coffee where it needs to be. And so the market is paying for it to be delivered. But there will come a time when the certified stocks will increase. That's another conversation we had to, get another couple of million bags in the warehouse. And the market will look at the collective situation and go, there's coffee on the trees. There's coffee in the boats. There's coffee in the warehouses. There's coffee everywhere I need it to be. I'm not worried about the pipeline being shut off. There's no political uncertainty, and the prices will drop, and market will go back into carry, and a lot of people will forget that this ever happened.
Yeah. So one of the things you're looking at is you're looking at not the next contract, but the contract after. Yeah. And as you see shrinking in the gap, you no promises.
Yeah, right.
Anything could happen, but that's sort of a canary in the coal mine for you. As far as
and for those roasters who are sort of trying to become a little bit more literate with the way futures contracts work, right? If you have a short position and you're working in a carry market, and then you see it switching to you're in an inverted market and you see it switching to a carry market, you have to adjust your position for that. Yeah. Right. So as it flattens and goes to zero, we've got things we got to do here. So I watch it every day.
Yeah. Right? And what you're saying is talk to your trader.
Yeah. Yeah. Assuming that everything I said comes to pass, which is a massive assumption, right? And definitely not a promise. Red Sox hat on. But the situation should get better and easier, right? And what does that do long term? That lowers the barrier to entry into the coffee industry and increases competition, which is ultimately a good thing. But if you are in an environment right now where you survived it and a lot of your competitors didn't, great time to step on the gas because you'll have competitors in the near future.
Oh yeah, it's hard to resist the siren call of coffee.
Yes. One thing we haven't talked about is EUDR, which is, a factor for U.S. roasters, not as much as it is for the European community. But I think we talked about there was a good possibility it was going to get postponed. It has for another year. Yeah. And to the point where some people are wondering if it's dead.
Really?
Yeah. We'll see.
And is there some feathering in of that for smaller companies?
There is, but given how far they've pushed it, it's not something I'm even going to speculate on at this point.
Okay. Do you see skepticism on part of some of the larger European roasters?
Yeah. And as the political winds are shifting, I think that there's the sovereign governments that make up the EU are shifting in a way where they're less and less inclined to sort of foster that kind of regulation. And so every year that it gets pushed into an environment that's less friendly for it.
Yeah.
But that's another factor that not being in place opens up supply.
Yeah.
Right.
So another tick to the good. As small as it is, it's one among many.
Well, so it's interesting. So, it's easy to talk about the problem, and as things are getting worse, and sort of it's easy to report on a big news day, right? Because there's lots of things to talk about. And so now the challenge is, as all of these things seem to be receding at once, what does that mean?
Now, hopefully it means more of the same, and it doesn't mean that nature abhors a vacuum and some new crisis comes in to fill the...
Right. But, I'm no stranger to crisis. Hey there, SCA. And I think that it's a human nature thing to say the crisis has passed, now let's forget about the crisis, right? And if there's anything that I learned from 2025, it was that keeping my head on a swivel and being able to react quickly and being able to change my deeply held opinion were all really great survival skills. And you don't want to let those get rusty in times of calm.
Yeah, I would knowing you, I would hazard a guess that no one of these things is ever going to surprise us again here in Kavoy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, but I also think that what's great, and this should apply to everyone who's listening to this as well, is that everyone just got a first-class education in this, right? And so not only will we not be surprised by it, but we've seen it. Yeah. We've dealt with it. Yeah. We know what it is. We know what to do, or we know from hard experience what not to do. Yeah. Right.
This is what you can fairly label an awfully valuable experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Awfully with AW. Yes. Yeah. So I think, we covered most of that stuff. What was your either your favorite episode last year or the best, you think, the most productive conversation we had?
Probably working capital. Yeah. Shoulda, woulda, coulda when it comes to working capital. And all the things that go into, in fact, in a minute, we're going to do some suggested resolutions for coffee roasters. And my suggested resolution is going to speak directly to this, because all the sort of, let's say, let's not call them flaws, but not up to snuff aspects of doing your business. When it comes to working capital, everything's exposed. Yeah. Yeah. So I like that one because I felt like it was a good reminder for everyone. And for some people, it was actually a new information. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what that was also my favorite. And it was really interesting for me. There's a few very good competitors that I respect a lot. And I got feedback from them on that episode. And that meant a lot to me.
That's actually our most popular episode in Coffee Memo history, as short as it is.
Short as it is, but hopefully will be longer. But yeah, I think that's the standard I'll try and hold us to in 2026 was that conversation. I think we want to sort of provide that amount of depth. I think my favorite episode for fun, or just in terms of like professionally doing this, was our talk with Mike Nugent.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I have a Nugentism here that I copied onto my notes here. He sends a end of the year note to his clients, right? And it was very long, but there was two little nuggets that I pulled out. One was, as we enter the new year, we do so with humility about what we cannot know and confidence in what we can do, right? Which is classic, but it's that 50 years in the biz and however long it's been, and I'm still humble.
Yeah.
Man, sure. Really important. And then the other one, the goal is no longer to forecast a single outcome 12 months forward. The goal is to understand which risks can appear suddenly, how quickly they can propagate, and how to remain positioned to respond rather than react. With how quickly things are changing. I mean, you just, again, it's first week of January, so we just had the sort of military action in Venezuela. We had threats against Colombia. We had all sorts of talk about annexing other territories. It's like all of that hits coffee, whether we're talking about disrupting shipping or, imagine the U.S. in a military conflict with Colombia, what that would do with coffee.
Yeah. It's tough to even imagine.
Right. So, and then the whole hemisphere, in some sort of naval blockade or a war. I mean, it's like, and that those kinds of what ifs and those possibilities enter the psyche of all the trading participants, and people react to that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, I had one of our traders called me the other day and says, "What's going on with the market?" I said, "Read the news."
Yeah.
Sure. That's what it is. Sometimes it's the weather. Sometimes it's there's not enough coffee. Sometimes it's working capital, but sometimes it's just the news.
Sometimes you don't feel great.
Yep.
And it comes out everywhere.
Yeah. Well, what's your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution for coffee roasters is if I were a coffee roaster now and entering this year, my number one New Year's resolution would be to spend 2026 getting my accounts receivable in order. I just know, I mean, I've known a lot of roasters. I've done some consulting, you and I both. I've seen a lot of accounts receivable. Let's say that, if you're in accounting class and you're talking about accounts receivable, the teacher putting up a coffee roaster as an example of what to do is probably not a very likely scenario. No. And part of it is the nature of our business. There's some oddities around our business. There's this thing where people tend to act like bankers throughout the supply chain.
Yeah.
And that even goes down to roasters sometimes. And my recommendation resolution would be, well, stop it. So be assertive with your AR. Well, first of all, understand what's happening. Make sure you know what's what, where is where, and where is and what's not there. And to have a plan and to address that methodically and structurally. And don't stop.
Don't stop. Yeah. It's funny. I had to write a thing for my end of the year performance review, sort of like one of those "how'd you do" and "what'd you learn" kind of things. And I listed a bunch of things. I basically listed all the drama and trauma of 2025, and then how we did well, right? We navigated most of that stuff really, really well. And at the end, I go, "What did I learn? Do more of that."
Yeah. Do more of the same.
Yeah.
And when we say we did well, let's say what that means. We're still here.
We're still here. Yeah. We're still here, and we're in a position where we can take advantage of this market coming down, and we're able to buy coffee again, and we're able to have coffee available for clients, and it's a good feeling, right? Because we're traders. We want to buy coffee. We want to sell coffee. We want to make relationships at both ends of the supply chain, and do the things that we do. So for my New Year's resolution, part of it is not a resolution because I do it all the time, and that's ask questions and ask the same question to as many people as possible, so I can sort of get through to a right answer. But the thing, my resolution is to take the same advice that I'm giving all of the younger folks that work here, which is to remember that everything that is happening is training for your gut, right? And your gut is something that you have with you all the time. Right. And if you're like us, we have more gut than we want. But but no, I mean, seriously, I think that to look at this as a high class training exercise is something I want to carry forward into 2026.
Yeah.
Learn from all of this drama and apply it, and then it's not painful anymore.
Yeah, all that pain. If you're still here by luck. And spent most of the time with your head under a rock.
Yeah. Second chances.
You just, it was a lost opportunity watching the team here sort of get buried in the stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of hoping, well, it'll get better tomorrow, or the only thing for sure is that nothing's going to stay the same. Instead of doing that, you and the whole team just get absorbed in the details and the issues and really explore them to the nth degree.
Yeah.
It was inspiring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the tidal wave comes, you put your head in the sand or you grab a board and surf, right? So, I mean, we chose B. And, wiped out every once in a while. But I think, I couldn't be prouder of this team. I mean, we just crushed it. And this is not supposed to be a self-congratulatory episode here. But, I mean, I think, you have to give credit where it's due. I think our team just really rose to the challenge. So, how do you think we should move forward from here? What's our utility?
You catch me off guard here. I think there's always going to be news. We might serve our listeners well by occasionally reaching back into our experience to talk about lessons learned, going way back. I have a few thoughts on marketing
Yeah.
here and there, communications, but continue to look at the environment around us because these topics are going to keep coming up.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to do inverted market number 4, at some point.
You know what's hilarious is that for some roasters, I might have to do carry market.
Yeah.
Because they've only ever known inverted market.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah.
One of the other lessons I learned, it's not a New Year's resolution because I'm going to do it every year for the rest of my life, but was the utility of taking vacation and getting out of just the flow of the whole thing. Yeah. I was telling a friend of mine, I went on for LA. I went to LA for Christmas to visit my stepdaughter. And while I was there, it was 4 days of rain and we stayed inside and did family stuff and that was fun. And on the 5th day, it was beautiful, sunny Southern California weather. And the family was all doing stuff. And I was like, I'm going to go play golf.
Nice.
Right. So I did. And it just, random walked up to the thing and they paired me with some people and we played for a couple of hours and I was just outside and it was beautiful. And then all of a sudden one of the people I was with says, "What do you do?"
Oh, no.
Right. No. And it took me a good 45 seconds to remember because I was so unplugged. And
That's great.
I was like, oh, I want to chase that feeling.
Yeah, I was noticing as people take vacations towards the end of the year, walking around the office and seeing the laptops that got left behind.
Yeah.
And how many years that wasn't.
Oh, no.
We didn't do that.
Yeah.
And there were so many years there where the laptop, if you were gone, the laptop was gone. And seeing how many people are, and to me, it's great news.
No, they trust the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
so,
great.
Very cool.
Well, if you're still here and you still have a business, congratulations. Mike and I are proud of you. And
good job.
And we'll keep trying to be here for you.
Okay, take care.
Thanks,
everyone.
Mike.
Thanks, Rob. You've been listening to Coffee Memo with Rob Stephen. Executive producer for the Kavoya Coffee Podcasting Network is me, Mike Ferguson. Our Coffee Memo theme music is Jealous Dogs by The Pretenders. If you know, you know. If you don't know, ask. If you've enjoyed this or any podcast on the Kavoya Coffee Podcasting Network, please do all the things. Rate, review, follow, or subscribe, and tell 3 friends. Right now. I'll wait. You'll find a link to our listener survey in the show notes. Please take the survey.
Please, I'm begging you.
And remember 2 things. You can email me at mike.ferguson@kavoya.com, and Black Coffee is performed by the one and only Ella Fitzgerald. Like a little bit like an old married couple.
Yeah.